control the vertical.
Welcome to Anthologic, the TV anthology podcast. I am your host, Mark. Anthologic is a podcast dedicated to exploring the good, the bad, and the odd of horror, science fiction, and the best of mystery suspense anthology shows and series on TV. Join me as we slip through the cracks of reality to approach the extremes of experience, where we can peruse the stories and art of a sinister fairground of strange and wonderful rides. And now we go on to the show that is the focus of this particular episode. Welcome to this episode of Anthology with your host Mark. Today I'm talking about a web series initially, though it is now available on Amazon Prime, called Twisted Tales. Actually, a better title is Tom Holland's Twisted Tales. This was originally a web series from 2013. Twisted Tales has been used a few times for different anthology series. So Tom Holland's Twisted Tales kind of distinguishes it a bit. So it was released through FearNet's website and then was released on DVD. And I have indeed got the DVD, but it's also on Amazon Prime, like I say, certainly in the UK. So this one comprises 9 episodes. It's one season, 9 episodes. Tom Holland has expressed an interest in continuing and making a new season, but he said he wants to make it more like 30-minute episodes rather than these shorter ones. Now, these 9 episodes, they range in length. The one I'm talking about today is only 9 minutes long, but other episodes tend to be a little longer than that. They range somewhere between 11 and 25 minutes, though the very last one, which is called A Vampire's Dance, is also as short as the one we're talking about today. So the one we're talking about is Fred and his GPS. Now, these are reasonably well made, interesting credits, didn't have any problems with it. It's a two-hander. Really, there's only really two actors that sort of are seen, as it were. A businessman, AJ Bowen plays a businessman called Fred, who has murdered his wife Samantha, who's played by Bonnie Pierce. And he's getting it. Basically, we see him start his car journey, and he asks the GPS to take him to the airport because he wants to book a flight to anywhere that hasn't got an extradition treaty with the US. The GPS does more than the usual GPS. I think this is supposed to be near future because the GPS does all sorts of things. It doesn't just do GPS. It starts scanning for locations that he's asked about and things like that. But then it starts a conversation with him. Now, this is basically a variant on a redo of Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart. That's the gist of it. Basically, he's talking to this machine, and you start to realise the machine's probably not talking back to him. He's probably imagining it because it brings out his reasons for what he did, fit of jealous rage. But then his wife starts talking through the GPS, as it were, in his wife's voice, and in fact we see her face as well. Starts saying, I wasn't unfaithful, I just said other men find me attractive while you don't, and all this kind of thing. And it's a back and forth along this. So Fred starts to doubt whether he's done the right thing, and it goes on. This goes on for a few minutes, several minutes. As I say, the whole thing's only 8 minutes long, and that includes credits, so it's a very short piece. And he gets out. Because the car's the GPS is starting to bother him, but it doesn't go well. I'm going to spoil this. It's a very short piece, and there are 8 others you can watch. If you don't want it spoiled, stop now. He gets hit by a car, and the GPS says you have reached your final destination. In a gleeful kind of way. Yeah, so very simple, very basic. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's on Prime. That's fine. As I say, I've got it on DVD. I think it may have been a German import though. I don't think. In fact, I think I've got it on Blu-ray. I don't think it's an English on the cover, but I could be wrong. And it's cut into, I believe, one film. So in fact, instead of being 9 parts, it's basically a long film, as it were. But in sections. And I'm sure if I watched it on the Blu-ray, which I haven't yet, it would say watch this story or watch that story. It's kind of like that. Yeah, it was fine. Kind of interested. I think I'd have to watch some of the longer stories to really get a feel. This was so short that it was kind of over before it started, kind of thing. And I think some of the cast in some of the other episodes kind of look interesting. I've recognised some of the names, but they're not particularly famous. It may be they just sound like people I know. I'm not really sure. I haven't really got much to say about this. It was well made. It was straightforward. It was simple. It didn't outstay its welcome. I think 8 minutes is about right for this story. As I say, it's Poe's Telltale Heart. It's just another variant of Poe's Telltale Heart. So, yeah. Okay. Guilt sends you mad and makes you imagine things in essence. Okay. Not much more to say about this one. But before I go, may I ask, is anybody out there?
I'm not.
We now return control of your television set to you until next week at this same time, when the control voice will take you to